Okay, so this is how Sculptra is different from hyaluronic acid fillers. And we're gonna go through hyaluronic acid fillers, and then we're gonna go through Sculptra, and we're just gonna talk about all the details. So first, hyaluronic acid fillers, which have traditionally been the most popular type of aesthetic filler. What they are is a product that is based off of natural hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is something that our body naturally produces, and it's something that our body naturally breaks down. And so hyaluronic acid fillers, there's a whole portfolio, multiple portfolios of them. They're all slightly different. They're all based off of that natural hyaluronic acid molecule. When you inject a hyaluronic acid filler, the hyaluronic acid filler itself makes the desired cosmetic outcome. And so with that, we always say it takes 2 weeks for a filler to settle, but for the most part, the results are instant. So if someone wants a more subtle, kind of gradual result, we may do a standard treatment or a predetermined treatment, but over multiple visits. But for the most part, when you leave the visit, you see the results instantly. Hyaluronic acid is also quite precise. So if someone says, you know, my left under eye is a little bit more hollow than my right under eye, or my right upper lip is a little bit flatter than my left upper lip, you can kind of tweak it because you can decide how much you inject here versus how much you inject there. So it's incredibly precise and the results are instant. In terms of potential drawbacks, side effects, it's relatively very safe in that the most common adverse reaction is a bruise. With that being said, there is the potential risk for a serious adverse event when injecting hyaluronic acid fillers. And that's why we say it's really important that the person injecting you understands anatomy. And that's because we are essentially injecting a product blindly into the face. So I don't have a camera showing me exactly where I am. I'm really going by the feel of my cannula or my needle. And so that's important because one, you're gonna get different results depending on where you actually inject the filler. And two, you wanna make sure that you're in a safe plane where you're doing your best to avoid dangerous structures. And so with hyaluronic acid, there is always the very small chance, and the chance changes depending on where you are on the face, but there's a very small chance that the filler could be injected actually into the vessel. And if that happens, that's called an occlusion, and you could get usually temporary damage to the overlying skin. And in very rare cases, there have been a handful of cases of blindness documented in the literature. And so that's why we've seen a big transition in the field where people are moving, particularly when you're injecting in the midface. A lot of people will inject with a cannula instead of a needle because the chance of an occlusion while using a cannula is much